Yard sales, they're a great way to source, and right now in the fall and in the spring are great times of year nationwide to find stuff to resell. And in today's video, I'm going to come up with 5 tips to help you succeed at sourcing at yard sales. So without any further ado, let's go. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is John from Flippin' Ain't Easy, and today I want to talk to you guys about sourcing at yard sales. And as I mentioned, fall, spring, great for yard selling year-round. If you're in a more climate area that is, like Southern California is always great weather year-round. But if you're not as fortunate, sometimes it's just maybe late spring, summer, and early fall. But no matter when you go, when you can go, it's a great way to source and to make some extra money on eBay, Mercari, however you like to resell. Now for me, I gotta tell you, I gotta be honest, I've been doing a lot of liquidation. I'm a reseller with eBay, mostly eBay, some Amazon, some Mercari, and I gotta tell you, didn't really do a lot of yard sales for the first year or two of my full-time reselling life. So going into year 3 of being a full-time reseller, I've incorporated a lot more yard sales into my arsenal of ways of finding items to sell. Now, one thing to keep in mind, no matter how you're buying stuff to resell, it's how you buy it that's going to make the whole difference as far as what kind of money you're going to make, how easy it is to maybe move that particular item and make money in this game. So your sourcing, buying low, is the way to do it. Now, of course, I had to pick brains of people who've been doing this for years, watching people that I trust do it, incorporating the things that they do into what I do and what I did today and what I did last weekend and what I've done before that. And I'm making this video to share some tips that I know are going to be something that you can utilize to help you maybe save time, utilize as many yard sales or get to as many yard sales as you can throughout your day, and ultimately make money, right? So I got to tell you, today I spent about $300, a little over $300 in merchandise, and it's going to be at least a 3x return on pretty much everything that I bought, maybe a little bit more than that. And so I'm out here listing, and I thought, you know what, I want to share at least my thoughts and tips on what I do to achieve that. Some of these are obvious. Now the first one, it's very obvious, and I'll just put it out there, is of course the old adage, the early bird gets the worm. It's no truer than anything else than at a yard sale. And I got to tell you, for me, if you get there, a lot of people like to get to yard sales like 8 to 9 o'clock. It's too late. For me, if the yard sale starts at 6 a.m., you got to be there at 6 a.m. But the fun doesn't end at 6 a.m. See, because a lot of people show up 8, 9, 9:30, 10. You have probably a good 2 hours to get the good stuff before the pickings start to get slim. Now today I went to a yard sale with my wife, and we met up with Biscuit Butt Archie, a buddy of ours that's out here in the Vegas area. Well, we all went and we kind of waited for each other, so we drove together to a bunch of community yard sales. I think there's like 3 different community yard sales that we went to this morning. Now what I learned from that experience of doing that, going together, separate cars, waiting for each other, then moving on to the next batch of sales, this, that, the other thing, is 2 things. Number one, you're kind of waiting for each other. So if you go to a yard sale and you don't see something that catches your eye, but your friend or the other person is there and kind of looking at stuff and really interested in things that maybe you have no interest in, you're waiting and you're wasting and losing time trying to make money, right? That's the whole purpose, at least why I go and my friends go. So if we ascend on a yard sale, the same yard sale, and there's many other yard sales in the area, but we're all together at the same yard sale, chances are we're going to be looking, or our attention is going to be focused on similar, if not the same items. And so you're kind of feeling like, well, do I let my friend gravitate to that first, or do I swoop in, right? Do I walk fast and get there? And for me, I don't want to feel that way. I don't want to feel like, I'm bogarting all the good stuff, and here I'm getting the good deals and my buddy's getting the scraps. And that's kind of how I felt today. There was a number of times where I saw my buddy Archie getting some pretty good stuff, and I thought, man, if I was here today, I would have grabbed that too. And then there's times that I was getting there and finding some really good stuff that I know that he would have liked to have, and I felt bad about that. And the best way to do it is, last weekend we went yard selling to another community yard sale with Carrie from American Arbitrage and Don from Lady Arbitrage. And I think we did it the right way. We said, look, we're going to just hit the community yard sales, and let's meet up at like 10:30 for, breakfast or lunch, and let's talk about what we got. And that way you're not stepping on each other. You're probably hitting the same yard sales, just in a different order. And maybe you can talk about some things that maybe they were able to get that you didn't see, and maybe learn from that experience. And really, to me, there's no wondering, well, what if we all went together, would I have even had the opportunity to get half of the stuff that I know that they would have liked? Now, I think this next one's pretty obvious. You want to be as friendly as you possibly can. When you roll up to that yard sale, when you walk up to that driveway or wherever they're having the yard sale, you got to tell them good morning, hello, how's your day been? Be very personable and as friendly as you can. And, of course, it's a pleasant experience. Of course, everyone's enjoying the day for the most part. That seller might be having a good day and they might not be, but it's going to make every bit of difference when it comes time to negotiate with that seller. And they are going to be more apt to give you a deal and to work with you if you've sparked up conversation and have just made it a pleasant experience. Now, no one's saying to give out your phone number and tell your life story, but just walk on up to the person that's running the sale, and just in passing say, good morning, how are you doing, how's your day been? That's going to take it a long way, and chances are they're going to spark up some conversation. And when it comes time to ask them what they want for this, or maybe make an offer for that, they are going to be more receptive because they like you and you were nice to them. Don't be afraid to make an offer. And use information, clues from what the seller, after you sparked up conversation, right? You've introduced yourself. Use clues about the items that they're selling. A lot of times they'll come out and say, look, everything's negotiable. Or they'll say, hey, we just got to move everything, so don't be afraid to make me an offer. And don't be afraid to make them an offer, even if they don't say any of that. Maybe put your own clues out there. Maybe put feelers out there. Are you willing to negotiate? Are you looking to make some deals on some of this stuff? Sometimes you're going to come across stuff and they're firm on the price, and maybe you can still throw an offer out there, and they may tell you no. Well, don't let that discourage you. Move on to other stuff. Maybe come back and say, hey, look, would you consider a bundle with these items plus that, and try to work in a discount that way. Let's say that there's an item that they have marked as $30 and you really need to be in it for under $20 for it to be worth your while. Don't be afraid to ask. Even if they do say the price is firm, the most they're going to do is say no. I think sometimes when we bundle things, when we show them that we're interested in more than one item, a lot of times it's easier to get a discount than when you're just focused on one thing. So, try to bundle items if you can. But yes, don't be afraid to ask for a discount. That's how I got a lot of my deals. For instance, we had a box of surveillance cameras, and there must be about, I think there's like 6 or 7 in there. They're 1080p, and they were kind of dusty. They had the original boxes, and they put $40 for all the cameras. They were selling them all as a lot. Well, I picked up the box, did my research, figured, there's probably room for some negotiation here. So my initial investment on this lot is $30. Now, would I have settled for $40? I probably would have reluctantly bought it for $40. You're going to come across some sellers that won't budge, and really I think they're going to realize at the end of the day that if they would have been more open to negotiation, they would have moved on from a lot of the stuff that they're selling. You're going to come across a lot of yard sellers who also sell on eBay, and while it's still always a good idea to ask, don't ever not make an offer, but just know that there's some people who know what the real market value is, and unfortunately they're using their yard sale as if they were selling on eBay, and you just got to make the offer and move on, and it is what it is. Beware of high-end areas. So one of the community yard sales we went to was full of just million-dollar homes, huge homes. And you know, I kind of looked at it as when I was a kid and we went trick-or-treating, the places you wanted to go for the best candy was the large homes. Well, that was the mindset that I initially had, and boy, that was a mistake. Because see, a lot of these people who live in these fancy huge homes, number one, they probably don't have time for a yard sale. The money they're going to make at a yard sale is just not worth their time. After all, they have a huge house and they probably have a nice income and a great job, and really it's just beneath them, if we're putting it that way. We found that there are far fewer yard sales going on in the high end areas, and when we did go to the yard sales in these higher end areas, they wanted top dollar for their items. In a lot of cases, some of the stuff was priced above market. So while you kind of looked at some of these nice items and said, oh, you know, these are some nice things you have, it wasn't conducive for a reseller cashing in on a lot of these things. So I don't think we bought much at all from this particular community yard sale. One thing I was telling Jenna is these people don't care about your $3 offer. Okay, they got a $20 item or $10 item. You make them a lowball offer. No, they're not interested. Okay, they don't need the money as much as some of these other people do that maybe are just hoping to get rid of as much stuff as they can. You're going to find some people that will give you deals no matter what situation they're in. But for the most part, the nicer high-end areas, it's not ideal. Well, guys, there you have it. Comment down below. Let me know. Maybe I missed a ton of things, maybe that you can add to the tips I've offered. But let me ask you to do me a favor. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to the channel. And of course, hit that notification bell so when I go live or make a video like this, you're going to be notified. Guys, sourcing at yard sales, I had a great time. It was a fun way to find merchandise to resell and of course make money with, but yet it's just another example of how flipping ain't easy. And I want you guys to have a great start to your week, and we will talk to you very soon.